I was recently invited to do a cyanotype demonstration and a little bit of a workshop at a local art center. And because it was in the evening from 6 to 9 p.m. at the end of March, I knew I needed to probably do something with UV lighting, artificial light. So I have this little lamp here. It's Let's Resin, so it's a resin light. I like it because it folds up nicely, it charges easily, and it has multiple settings for the amount of time that you want to use with your lights, and it does a pretty adequate job. What we did for the workshop, we had paper just to keep the surface clean, a little bottom sheet to use, and then we used just some small pieces of watercolor paper like this. They're cut small, just some small pieces. And you lay that on there just like you would with any other cyanotype that you're working with. I'm using the same solution that I always use. It's the Jacquard A and B solutions. You use equal amounts of each. So I'm going to follow those same instructions. And what we did is we just simply added our solution, just like you would if you were doing outdoor cyanotypes. Saturate your paper well. We did wet cyanotypes because there was no time for the drying process, so we kept it very simple. And one of the most popular offerings that I had that people liked using were my feathers. I have a lot of feathers that I've collected over the years, and people really had fun with those, although I had some stencils and other things that people could use as well. But my feathers were quite popular. And then we took a piece of 4x6 acrylic, and I bought the acrylic and the watercolor paper, which I cut myself, on Amazon. It's Strathmore 300 gram watercolor paper. Clip it into place. And the key to working with a resin light is that you need to get fairly close to your piece. So when it comes up, the hardest part was just getting it close, but have it not fall into the piece. So I have it up above my piece, about, let's see, how high up is it? It's about 2.5 inches over the paper. Because we were working in a room with a lot of people in and out, and I didn't know who might be sensitive to the light, I did have this cloth that we put over it. And before I push the settings, it comes with different settings: 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. And we used the 5-minute setting with pretty good results. Although you could, if your 5-minute setting isn't doing the job, you can keep it, you can just reset it for a little bit longer. So I'm going to cover it up a little bit. I don't know that that has a whole lot to do with how well the light works. I do know it helps not have people bothered so much by the light. While that's going on, I have a tub of the water getting ready for rinsing, and I have some 50-50 water and peroxide solution ready because we didn't want to have to wait for it to dry and fully develop. We wanted to be able to get quick results on our little pieces of paper so that the people that were trying it out would know how it worked and could take it home with them, which is always something that people enjoy doing. So in a few minutes, I'll come back for the reveal. Okay, the light just went off, so we'll see what we get. I'll just fold my lamp back up, and you can see that it's turned that amber color that you expect to see with a cyanotype, letting you know that it's ready to rinse. So I have some water handy, which I'll put in place here. And we'll take apart the piece. Because it's a wet cyanotype, you will need to clean off your acrylic before you put it away. Looks pretty good. So we'll put it in the water and do a rinse. I like to rinse under flowing water generally, but when I'm doing something like this or when I'm doing a large piece, I often will soak it. It works either way. And what we did, again, because we're in speed it up a little bit mode, we had paper towels handy, because as soon as it came out of the water, I suggested that it be patted dry. And at this point, it's not as dark as what someone might want. So that's where the peroxide and water solution comes in handy. We can simply spray it to speed up the transition process. Now this right here is the result of some of the solution that did not fully soak into the paper, so when I pressed the acrylic sheet onto it, it created a little bit of a bubble effect. The only way to avoid that is to smooth my liquid out just a little bit better before attempting the print. But that's how it works. So it does work. What I have found through some experiments, it is difficult to go too large with these little resin lamps. They're not made for working super large. I was able to get these 4x6 sheets on a piece of watercolor paper, so I was able to go a little bit larger. You'll notice it is also a little bit lighter because I had to hold the light up a little bit higher over it, but it's a lovely blue and it worked really well, so I'm not at all unhappy with the results. I had this one that didn't come out well at all, and as near as I can gather, it's the type of paper I used. This is a nice heavyweight watercolor paper. I don't really know what kind it is, but it was heavier and it seemed to have absorbed more of the fluid. Here I didn't get as much absorption and it was just a little bit watery looking. So you'll have to experiment with your papers. The paper that I used when I was demonstrating at the Art Center was Strathmore watercolor paper. 9x12. I cut it up. You get 9 of these little rectangles out of a single sheet. So it worked out really well for the large demonstration that I was doing. So give it a whirl. You can get a Let's Resin lamp. I think they were around $30 on Amazon, and it comes with a charger cord. So it's well worth it if you want to just do some small things for the fun of it.